Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Moments with Mindleaps. And today is a very special day because this is World Refugee Day, or to be precise, it's the day right before World Refugee Day, depending on the time zone that you're in. And we are trying something brand new on Moments with Mindleaps. I've never had the chance to do this before, but we're happy that you're trying with us. We are going to try to interview one of the Mindleaps students who is a refugee and lives in Kampala, Uganda. And so we ask all of you to be very patient with us as we work with the internet connections. And it's also very late in Kampala, Uganda, so we're very fortunate to have this chance to try to connect with Francois Bulambo. And he's going to be joining in, and sometimes he might have a break in his internet and he'll join us back again. For those of you who don't know, my name is Rebecca Davis and I'm the founder and executive director of Mindleaps. And it's been such a pleasure for us to start this series called Moments with Mindleaps on Fridays, where we have the chance to speak with creatives, artists, researchers, really fascinating people around the world who are doing many different things and connected to Mindleaps one way or another, or connected to community building as a result of their passion for the arts and creativity and what that can do to bring together people and promote justice, which is so needed today in this world. As many of you know, today is also Juneteenth, and it's a holiday that should have been recognized a long time ago, and we're so proud that that's a holiday that is now going to be part of our lives and a reminder to us about everything that we need to do to create the social justice that we see in the world. And that's one of the big reasons why today we wanted to focus on the refugee crisis, which is another thing that we see in the world today where there's just not that creation of equality or safety that leads to equality that the world deserves and that these youth deserve. So for those of you who are just joining us, we have something very different, a bit of an experiment today. We're going to be connecting with Francois Bulambo. And Francois is one of our refugee youth who's a Mindleaps student in Kampala, Uganda. So we have been working with Francois all day today, practicing to see if the internet connections will hold. It's a little bit of an experiment, but we thought that that's the right thing to do with World Refugee Day tomorrow, to make sure that there's a way for us to bring together and to celebrate the voices of those that we're looking to promote. Francois Bulambo became a Mindleaps student in 2017 when we first started in Uganda as an organization. And we're going to be connecting with him here. And Francois comes from Congo, from DRC, and became a refugee in Uganda, which is where he was first introduced to this wonderful, wonderful young boy. Since 2017, he's come in and out of the Mindleaps world as we've been building our organization in Uganda. And he has continually been one of the amazing youth that we work with that shows us that the way that you become a refugee is just totally random. There's nothing that makes you deserving of the challenges that faces and the challenges that creates. And Francois is one of the most exceptional young people we've ever had the chance to work with. And the way that he's been able to rebuild his life in Kampala and in Uganda and support his family members, support other Mindleaps students, and exactly why we wait for the day that social justice is served around the world. So Francois keeps, we see him joining and then the connection breaking. So we're just going to ask him to join one more time. He almost got it this time. If you'd been here during our tech rehearsals all day, people have been joining us online going, "What's going on, Rebecca?" But we've been testing this internet connection with Francois, and he's been so patient trying to make this work. In Kampala, it's 11:30 at night now. So we're really, really excited that he's trying to join us, and we're going to ask him to join one more time. I see he's here, but he just needs to make the request to join. And then sometimes when he makes the request, it times out because the internet connection requires his video as well. So one of the other things that we want to do today is share with you a little bit about the refugee plight around the world, and many of you are familiar with it from your work promoting social justice. I see a lot of our researchers joining us and a lot of our Mindleaps students who've actually worked with us in Uganda too, like Abuba, who's one of our stars now in the US, but had a chance to teach kids in Kampala with Mindleaps and met many of these refugees. So Mindleaps works in Kampala, which is the capital city of Uganda, where there's a lot of urban refugees. And then we also work in one of the refugee settlements, which is Urachinga Refugee Settlement. And later this year, we'll be starting in our second refugee settlement in Uganda, which is Ramanja Refugee Settlement. And in all of these locations, we have refugees from different countries who are living together and waiting to see if peace comes to their countries and they're able to return. But while waiting and while wondering, they start to build their lives in Uganda. I can't believe I can see you, Francois. So there's going to be an internet delay between us, but we're going to try to make this work as best we can.
Hi.
Oh, I hear that beautiful voice. Francois, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm okay. How are you doing?
Good. I'm glad you're still awake. I know
How
it's
are you
late
doing?
at night in Kampala.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's sometime up to 2, I'm used this time to be revising, things like that. So it's a normal thing to me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, Francois, I've been telling our guests a little bit about your story and the work with Mindleaps in Rwanda and Uganda with refugees. Tell us, when did you come to Uganda? How long have you been living in Uganda now?
Yeah, now I actually, now it's 8 years. 8 years.
8 years already.
I
Well then,
came to Uganda 2012. And like,
2012.
I'm a refugee by the way. Yeah, 2012. I came to Uganda because like my family was persecuted and my dad was killed, my mom in Congo. Yeah, cause Congo's ever in war, things like that. That's when we just found ourselves here in Uganda, found ourselves here in Uganda. So it's a long story. It's a long story. If I start talking,
When you first came to Uganda, as far as I remember, you didn't speak any Luganda, you didn't speak any English.
yeah. At first, I just knew Swahili and French. So Luganda and English were just strange languages to me.
It's so crazy. Even when I first met you three years ago now, I remember that we communicated in French. And then at some point this year, you told me, you're like, why are you still talking to me in French, Rebecca? I speak Luganda and English now. And it's just crazy to see how
Yeah,
you
actually.
join all of these languages together.
Yeah, anyway, like these languages. Sometimes yes, there are some languages which are, should I call it that, some of them which are powerful compared to others. Like for example, English. If you learn English, I'm telling you, even other languages you can forget.
Mm.
Cause like it has power. It has the way how it conquers. But at first, I never knew English. I could only speak Swahili and French and my mother's dialect, thing like that.
So Francois, tell us, what is the hardest thing about being a refugee in Kampala, and what is the best thing
Yeah.
about being a refugee in Kampala?
Yeah.
Francois, tell us, what is the hardest thing, the most difficult thing about being a refugee in Kampala?
And there are many. there are many difficult things as being a refugee in Kampala. Well, first of all, like you're in a foreign land. That's the first difficult thing. Living in a foreign land, not like that you just came for adventure. No, you're just there because of by the force of nature. So that thing is the hardest thing. Another thing, like sometimes okay, it's not so common, but as you know, sometimes you do pass, then they call you refugee. So it sounds weird. Sometimes some people call you in a wrong attitude or in the wrong way. So it hurts. It hurts, by the way. And also living also in Kampala, it's not easy. So like eating things like that, housing, it's not so easy. So there are many bad things or difficult
One of
things
the
as a
the things that
refugee staying
I learned when Mindleap started working in Uganda is that even though we say refugees, it's very, very different and it's very, very complex and complicated. You could be a refugee in Kampala, like Francois, or you could be a refugee living in one of the refugee settlements, like Urachinga or Ramanja, or Nakiavali, or Bidi, or you could also be a refugee living in another country in a refugee camp. Francois, what is the difference for you to be living in Kampala instead of one of the refugee settlements?
um, the difference first of all is here in Kampala, you like, let me say, you have that kind of, should I call it kind of freedom, because you are not limited while working. But those ones who are staying like in Ramanja, those places, like they are, they have some boundaries which they have to be in. And also here in Kampala, like you get exposed to medicine, for example, which those people are in they don't have access to them. And also here, better education is also here in Kampala, so which is
Mm.
kind of more good to we who are staying in Kampala compared to others who are in refugee settlements.
Mm.
And to be honest, the should I call it the living standards of here in Kampala and there in refugee settlement, they are not the same. To be honest, because here, like
Which living
standard, like here we do have electricity. We do have electricity, clean pumped water, and cause I've never been there, but I think they may have, but not like here in Kampala, because it's the capital city of Uganda, and I know all better things in Uganda must first be in capital city. That's why I'm using that concept anyway.
it's true that the services are different and the challenges are different, but exist in both places.
Yeah.
Francois, now I know you're going to school, and if it wasn't COVID, you would be in S6, which for our international viewers, that means the graduating year of high school. So, for example, like 12th grade if you were a student in the United States. So, this is, to me, again, amazing that your life completely seemed to fall apart in Congo. And then you come to Kampala and you're not in school, you don't speak the languages, and now you're about to graduate from a very good high school in Uganda. Tell us, what does it mean to be going to school now, and what do you want to do when you graduate?
Yeah, actually, it's a let me say that was one of my cause, like those days when I was not studying, I was I don't know when will I go back again to school. But
For those of you who are just joining us right now, like Martin, you're probably wondering why this interview is not in French, since we're speaking with one of our Uganda, Francois. And Francois is sharing with us a little bit about what it's been like for him to make this journey from DRC, from Democratic Republic of Congo, to find himself in Kampala, where he doesn't speak Luganda or English, and he's all of a sudden out of school, to 8 years later, where he's about to graduate from one of the best secondary schools in Uganda, and he's having an interview in English with us, and he's been able to put his life back together. And unfortunately, Francois' story is not unique, and this is why we want to share this information with everyone on World Refugee Day. Is that the lives that get so quickly torn apart really need to be rebuilt by organizations and individuals and institutions and governments that can give them the chance to rebuild and succeed, just like Francois is doing. So we see a bunch of our international friends joining. Avni from Skopje, we miss you, and Martin from Guinea-Conakry. So those of you who are joining now, we're speaking with Francois. And Francois, you're telling us about what it's like to now be able to go to school again, and what do you want to do when you graduate from high school?
yeah, I was still telling you, yeah, going to school is one of the most interesting things in life. Because in school, you get to learn many things. You get to sit with many people, many, many people with different ideas. So they always help you to shape your mind and to focus on what you're supposed to do and on your dreams also. Because schools have like great teachers, directors, so all those people they contribute to what you want to become in future. For example, me, like after my university, like the first thing which I want to do, I want also to help the vulnerable people around in the world because this world is all about helping each other. I want to help them. Then I want also to promote my dancing skill, things like that, and also music, cause I to consider music and dance to go together. That thing which I want, and like many things, and I know after graduating, I know everything I'll achieve. So for also young people who are watching me there outside, also wants also to achieve their goals, I think they should also be in school. They should also pray hard and also be in school. Because
Yeah.
it's a great thing. Because right now I'm talking to you because I've been studying in Uganda. Yeah, that's
Well, what you say, Francois, is like good lessons for all of us to remember. But when you hear one of our refugee students tell us, remember, the world is about helping each other. There's something that is really magical about the students that we get to work with. And Francois, I'm just so to see beyond yourself and to remind us, especially on days coming up like World Refugee Day, that maybe we celebrate a day, like Juneteenth or World Refugee Day, but it's also all about the fact that if we help each other, maybe we won't have to celebrate these days of differences anymore, but we'll just have a world where these issues don't exist and we stand beside each other, not refugees, not people of different colors, but just equals. And I think it's been really remarkable for the Mindleaps family to be able to see that vision of the future embodied by our students. Francois, I'm just saying to our viewers that I'm just constantly struck about how you're able to see the entire world, and you teach us a lot. Francois, tomorrow is World Refugee Day.
better.
What do you want people who are not refugees to know?
Um, like me, I would like to tell people are not refugees first to know that refugees also are like them, are really human beings like them. There's no big difference between refugees and normal people. The only difference which is there, because the refugees pass through many, let's say, bad situations, let's say like that. Because some of them, they don't have parents, they were tortured, they left their homeland, and they're staying in the foreign countries. So I think they should try to give them like some respect, let me say like that. Because they're like vulnerable people, or they're like lamb, you know. You may see them just moving, but when their mindset have some problems, more you become a refugee. But anyway, what I think I still think the Uganda and let me say the world, because at least they're shown that they really care about refugees. That's what they really like.
Francois, you're so right. And I wish everyone in the world could like hear you say, can we please remember that there's no difference between me here on this side and you there on that side. That refugees are just human beings and we need to show each other respect. Everything you say, Francois, is something that the entire world needs to hear. And I'm so grateful
Yeah.
to you for all the time that you spend with me, helping me understand the situation and helping me learn how to help. And for everything you do for the Mindleaps kids, our Mindleaps trainers, our Mindleaps staff, and everyone around the world. Francois, we're so happy to be able to call you our friend. We Francois, tomorrow's World Refugee Day, and I want you to know that we're all going to be celebrating you and waiting for the day that we work side by side again.
Yeah, anyway, thanks very much for this
Thank you.
discussion and for everybody.
Asante sana. Merci beaucoup. Weiburi.
Yeah, nothing wrong with message.
Thank you so much, Francois.
Okay.
Please, everyone, remember tomorrow's World Refugee Day and let's celebrate the future of the world. Thank you.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.